Hey YouTube, it's Chris here with another video on the 2003 Nissan Frontier 2.4 liter XE King Cab. What I got going on is a beepy thing. So what's happening? Well, I can't get my car to go in gear. It goes in gear, but the clutch pedal down here, it doesn't disengage. So, God. So I'm having problems putting the vehicle in gear. Watch. So here we are. It's like extremely hard to get in gear, and if I put it in reverse, here it's kind of grinding while my clutch is to the floor. What's happening? Well, it's extremely hard to get in gear. So what's happening is this. I replaced the clutch slave cylinder yesterday, day before, and it helped for like, I don't know, not even a day. This is not leaking. I did spray some lubricant on it. So I need to pop this line loose, and there is a bolt here and one on the other side that needs to come out. Now, before I go doing that, on the inside of the vehicle, you see that pin? Sorry about that, I was on the wrong side. So as you depress your clutch, this goes in and out, right? And that's all the way to the floor. You can see it's kind of a well, this isn't really working too well. See how it's only going out halfway, and then sometimes it'll work a little better. This piece is toast. So there's a pin right there. You have to pull this cotter pin out. That releases the silver pin to be pulled out. Once you pull that out, your pedal is basically free. This clutch pedal should just fall to the floor if it's not held by a spring. And that will allow me to remove the master cylinder from the vehicle and replace it. The tools you're going to need are a 3/8 metric set with a, of course, 3/8 socket wrench, and you will need to acquire or borrow a 10 millimeter, this is a 10-12 flare wrench. You can see it's got most of the sides covered, unlike a regular box wrench where it's just straight across. This grips more points on the bolt. For the steel line or the hard line, so right here, 10 millimeter, wiggle your flare on here, and it basically goes right over the line, and then you just give it a quick crack. Now, I did pre-spray these a while back with some lubricant. The reason you want to use a flare tool is just so you don't round off these nuts and give yourself more of a nightmare with having to replace one of these hard lines. We're going with a long extension, 13 millimeter, and a deep well socket. That way I can go right over top of these lines and I don't have to worry about breaking them. So I'm just cracking these loose, and I don't think I will be able to get to this one. Maybe just with the deep well socket. You can't really see this one, but it's literally right on the other side here. Okay, so here's what the part looks like when it's out of the vehicle. This is what I'm talking about. Here is where that pin goes through. Your clutch pedal would be my finger. The pin goes across, and there's a cotter pin locking it in. Simply pull the pin out. You will have to be a little bit of an acrobat underneath of the vehicle, but you could see it just from tilting the camera up. But I'm a larger caliber man, so it takes a little bit of maneuvering. So I'm not worried about the locking nut or the position. I will match this up to the one in the vehicle when I get it in. This one even feels better. It has a better locking cap than, boy, yeah, this one actually locks somehow. Gosh. Holy crap. Well, mine doesn't stick that far. This one literally comes right off. Look. Maybe this is half my problem. It's losing pressure. Who knows? Like sometimes it'll work for a week and then other times like today it totally sucks. So here's the pin I was talking about. This pin just goes through here like this. Okay? And it sits in between the slave. So it's hard to see, but you basically pull this pin out, this one will slide out and it'll go back in the new cylinder here. So give me a second to get the old one out. We'll be good to go. Okay. So I went with a long one and I got this nut out. Now I'm going to remove the extension here. Just use the deep well 13 mil. I'm going to go down here and now remember I just cracked them loose. So I'm going to remove this one. Here's the old one. No visual leaks or issues. Whoop. Minus the threads being out here. And my microphone fell off. Take each of these clutch cylinders here. And I'm basically going to compare the adjustment, which kind of looks right on, to the new replacement. Now the white cap is the new, of course, and it looks just about spot on. Now if your clutch pedal is a little too high, you can adjust this in and it'll lower it. Or if you like a tall clutch, you can adjust it out. Then you just take this nut and it's a 14 and you can run it down with a wrench. Now, the reassembly is going to be the exact opposite of removal. All right, I got the flare line in. I popped this free and this free. This is the clutch line. It goes down underneath the back. But I popped these out while it was, out of the master cylinder. And I actually pulled the master cylinder out, moved the line up here, put it in hand tight, and then just flipped it around to the piston because I couldn't get it out of the line. Went this way with the plunger and then put it back in. The plunger moves, so it was fine. So that might help you out. How the hell? My fingers are greasy. I don't know how to get this cap off. It turned. Oh God. I can't get the cap off. Why would you make it so freaking hard to get this lid off? I have rags underneath. We're just gonna fill this sucker with brake fluid. Hopefully I don't spill it everywhere. Okay. But I'm gonna try to use the factory cap here. Yes, factory cap fits. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this up. Right now I'm just using a regular box wrench because it's still loose. I don't know what's going on. I have nothing for pedal. I guess I'm gonna have to get underneath and crack the slave cylinder. There is a trick you can do. I don't know how well you can see, it's dark out. But I got the system bled. And now when I press my clutch in, gosh, is there even any light here? Let me flip my iPhone light on. Okay, so now when I depress my clutch, it's nice and firm. I might adjust it a little more, but look, I can go right into all my gears, even reverse, doesn't grind. Look at that. So where I thought I had a warped pressure plate, or I thought I had some crazy issue with my slave cylinder, I had no visible leaks on the slave or the master cylinder. I did have to bleed the system by myself There is a trick to that. I use this bar, which is just the handle from my floor jack, and what I do is this. I don't know how well you're going to see, but if I take and put the clutch here and I push it in, bloop, you can then slide the seat up and it'll hold the pedal in. You could cut down a broom handle, a long breaker bar. This happens to work pretty good. But that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like, thumbs up, subscribe, all the usual stuff. I appreciate it. Comments are always welcome, constructive criticism, and all that jazz. So stay tuned for more videos on various things. This is Chris signing off. See you later.